Newshour Special Edition.
Viewers, good evening. You're watching the Newshour on Times Now. My name is Pranesh. Voting in the penultimate phase of the Lok Sabha polls is over. An approximate voter turnout of 59.26% was recorded in 58 constituencies across 6 states and 2 union territories where polling was held today. All eyes were on Delhi, where there is a fierce fight for 7 seats. Delhi witnessed a voter turnout of 53.73% till about 5 p.m. President Draupadi Murmu, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar were among the early voters today. Congress party leader Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi also voted in New Delhi. Anantnag Rajouri parliamentary seat has stripped history. It recorded the highest voter turnout in last 35 years. A voter turnout of 51.35% recorded till 5 p.m. This turnout is the highest since 1989. With this, all 3 Lok Sabha seats in Kashmir have recorded the highest voter turnouts this time. Previously, Srinagar and Baramulla had broken voter turnout records.
वैसे आप बार-बार कह रहे थे, इसके बारे में बात कर रहे थे, तो मेरा ये कहना है कि इस बार बहुत ही ये जो इलेक्शन है, इस प्रोसेस को डिस्क्रेडिट किया गया और अनफॉर्चुनेटली गवर्नर साहब से लेके नीचे तक एसएचओज को इन्वॉल्व किया गया. अब एसएचओज का तो कोई कसूर नहीं है. नेचुरली जब डायरेक्शन ऊपर से हो, एलजी के लेवल से हो, पुलिस डीजी की लेवल से हो, तो बाकी लोग तो बाद में खुद ब खुद ही करते हैं. इसमें आई वुड लाइक टू नेम वन ऑफ द ऑफिसर जो डीआईजी हैं अल्ताफ खान साहब, उनका इसमें बहुत ही बुरा गंदा रोल रहा. और कल रात को जिस तरह से गाड़ियों में पुलिस गई, घर घर गई, गांव-गांव गई और हमारे नौजवानों को पिकअप किया, हरासा किया, उनको बंद किया, तो वो इलेक्शन के प्रोसेस को उन्होंने बिल्कुल ही डिस्क्रेडिट कर दिया. और अभी भी हमारे बहुत सारे लोग हैं, श्री गफारात से अब्दुल अजीज शाह, शौकत हुसैन, अब्दुल मजीद मीर, फिरोज़ अहमद, एजाज़ अहमद, लतीफ़ हसन, निसार अहमद आखून, निसार अहमद भट्ट, एजाज़ अहमद राथर, फारूक अहमद डार, सरताज अहमद लोन, जहांगीर अहमद, मोहम्मद अफजल, अब्दुल रहमान, इसी तरह यहाँ से सतर से जहांगीर डार है, नदीम है मरहमा से, कफील अहमद है मरहमा से.
Viewers, let's quickly shift our attention to the story that we've been tracking very closely. The Pune Porsche horror happened on last Sunday. It's been almost a week now, but there are several questions that remain unanswered and many fundamental questions. We do not know yet as to how many people were there in the Porsche car when this accident happened. The police today held a press conference but did not say anything with certainty with regard to this. Lapses have come to fore on part of the police and 2 policemen who've now been suspended, but no answers on the extent of damage that the dereliction has done. Does the rot run deeper? We don't know, because it is clear that there were attempts made to cover up the case because of the VVIP nature of the accused. Why was there a delay in the blood sample collection? There are no answers on this as well. Let's quickly open this up. We have a lovely panel joining us. Subhash, advocate; Swapnil, Kothari, advocate; Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP, Uttar Pradesh; and Rizwan, Siddiquee, noted advocate, also completes the panel. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Dr. Vikram Singh, I want to begin by asking you, in fact, I want you to make us understand how many things have gone wrong in this case. I mean, things that I just read out. It is unbelievable.
Pranesh, this question is for me.
Yes, sir.
Pranesh ji, everything has gone wrong. Seldom have I seen this level of miscarriage of justice and manipulation of the investigation. And the clumsy manner in which the course correction was done or attempted to have been done has made it even more grotesque. To begin with, the accident not reported to the senior ups. Then the attempt to put the driver in the driver's seat, where it was the spoiled super brat who was on the seat. the blood samples taken and manipulated in the sense that 2 samples taken after a lapse of more than 8 hours, knowing fully well that it will compromise the blood test examination and also would not do justice to the blood test also. Multiple tests can take place at the same time at the earliest possible time. What about the urine examination? What about the breath analyzer? And to feed the boy with high octane food like pizzas, it was not accidental, and to feed the boy and others with pizzas there is the attempt to mask and camouflage and absorb the alcohol in the alimentary canal. Now coming down to the other facts, the prosecution also failed miserably in the JJ board. They almost got away absolutely scot-free. It was later when you woke up and raised such a noise that it was revised. 2 suspensions, it is too little coming too late, because the entire investigation now stands totally compromised, diluted, and I have very serious doubts. Knowing fully well that the father and the grandfather are serial offenders, yet too little coming too late even for them. Their arrest came only after your media pressure. I mean, if this is the level of investigation, and to say that you're not able to disclose the number of people sitting in the car which was used, the weaponized car, then what is the level of investigation? People and everybody have a right to know, because the manner in which you messed up the investigation, thanks to you again, Pranesh ji, that the police, when I say you, I mean the Pune police, has been caught on the wrong foot, and it will be very difficult for them to retrace their steps. Now they should constitute an SIT with senior officers of unimpeachable integrity and ensure that the investigation is done. And Swapnil Kothari sir will say that it is perfectly doable in 5 working days. Ensure that it is put in the fast track court, and conviction should happen in 30 working days. At least that will atone for the lapses committed by the investigators.
Now, we will get to a little later in the show. We'll talk about who must answer for this. But Swapnil, just the nature of incredible lapses on part of the police.
Pranesh, it's very hard for me to suggest as to what sort of lapses have been committed by the police. The lapses have been absolutely abominable. Right from the beginning, you do not know, first of all, how many people are there in the car. The blood samples are being sent, some post 4 hours and post 8 hours, and why 2 of them are sent? Only 1 was enough. Where is the urine sample? Where is the breathalyzer test? And where are the results of the blood sample? The bail seems to come faster than the results of the blood sample. How astonishing and how abominable. Is this the level of scrutiny? Is this the level of police investigation that we as a democratic country on the cusp of being the 3rd largest economy are we supposed to face? Because we can have a great economy, but if we don't have a law and order situation which is in its place, that's bad news. Let me tell you that. Other than that, when the media channels grill the police, that is the time Section 304 is added, which is culpable homicide not amounting to murder with maximum punishment of 10 years. Why 304A at the beginning, death by negligence? So that the JJB could easily get the loophole and grant bail. The JJB was well within its rights. Then to say that, okay, the JJB made a foolish decision, an absurd order, that's all, of course, we are all entitled to say that in a court of law. And of course, that was reversed later on. But even that lapse initially, 304 later on, why? Why there has to be media pressure for something of this nature? It has to be public pressure. It has to be a democratic pressure. There has to be a law and order situation asking for that kind of a thing. The outrage that you see across the nation, and I'm trying to control myself, Pranesh, I'm a very controlled man. But when I like to look, when I see these things, I find it extremely laughable. And Pune is not some 3rd-tier city or a 4th-tier city. It's almost like a top-tier city today. And this is the state of affairs in that kind of a city, that the media channels has to rush. I'm awaiting the day, and I shudder, the day the media attention slips from this case or goes to other cases, which it is bound to go. What's going to happen? How are we going to continue with this? That's why the fast track court is required. Most importantly, the application of the police to treat this man or juvenile as an adult is primary. That's the first step. And then fast track this. There is nothing in this world.
I understand, while I understand the outrage and sentiment, Swapnil, my problem is that the courts will do what it has to based on what the police presents. But if there are lapses on part of the police, and these are fundamental problems that we're talking about. Remember, the initial FIR had section 304A, which is death by negligence, later revised to 304, that is culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. And even after that revision, there are many unanswered questions. Rizwan, Siddiquee, are you surprised?
See, if I have to say something about everything that I am watching, through the medium that is the media, because I don't have any first-hand information except for whatever I'm watching and whatever I'm seeing and reading in the newspapers. But nonetheless, the evidence which has been brought forward through the media, by the media houses, clearly demonstrate that the police have compromised the entire case to such an extent that the accused can stand just 1 second, I have a little bad throat today, so that the accused can be accommodated and so that the accused can get bail very easily, and that the whole matter at the time of the trial also would stand to be compromised. You understand? So there's nothing which would suggest that the police has done their duty right from day one, meaning from the time of the incident till the time of taking the blood samples, the first blood sample, the second blood sample, not taking the urine test. So I will not say that the police has done anything to suggest that it was in accordance with the provisions of law and that they were doing their duty to ensure that justice is delivered to the family of the deceased persons. I will not say that. But in the same breath, I will also say something else, that whilst the media is doing a superb job of discovering everything, of demonstrating everything, and of also showing it to the public and also showing it to the police, you all are being watched.
No, but you see, Rizwan, the trouble is that we are often accused of conducting media trials while you are appreciating.
No, I will come to that.
There is a section that will stand in judgment of what we've been doing. And, I get tagged on social media and people say that who's he to, serve a sermon to the police or perhaps advise the system. The question that we are asking on the debate tonight is, has the system been exposed completely? This supercar case has exposed the system once again, that if you're rich and mighty, if you have the money, everything is on sale.
No, can I just finish this? See, I'm not saying that the media is being irresponsible. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that media is doing a fantastic job of showing all the evidences, before the general public, and showing how the police are going wrong and how they are trying to accommodate an accused just because he's come from a very influential family. I'm not saying that the media is doing anything wrong. But something that the media is going a little wrong is that before any conviction order against the grandfather, the media is trying to taint the whole family as an underworld family. That is something that is not just
the underworld taint. No, Rizwan, look, we are not in the business of dishing out certificate. Times now certainly does not believe in that kind of journalism. Listen, if there is a case pending, that is for the police to probe. We are only telling our viewers what the case is about. If it has names of individuals connected to underworld, we are telling them the names which are involved. Dr. Vikram Singh wants to make a point. Yes, sir.
Just a small point, Pranesh ji, with greatest of respect to Mr. Siddiquee, I would say that a person who's involved with hobnobbing with Chota Rajan gang to eliminate a corporator is a very, very serious matter. Agreed that the matter is pending in the court, but the police have a system of documentation and dossiering such people, ba istiba, even on suspicion, they have a suspicious role, sir. Much as we may dislike it, but the fact of the matter is the police keeps a tab on all those people who have hobnobbed with. And to our shock and horror, Makoka could have been imposed and invoked on him. It was not done, sir. My small point was this.
Subhash, you've been listening intently. We've had this conversation, with you before. But let's just talk about the lapses. As a lawyer, what is your first impression of what the police has done or not done?
You asking this question to me?
No, that's for Mr. Jha.
It's to me. See, I will answer this question like this. Dowry. This is how the Supreme Court started a landmark judgment dealing with the minutes of dowry in the country. Why the expression dowry was used thrice? Because dowry, according to the Supreme Court, is demanded before marriage, during marriage, and after marriage. Now, I'm coming here, I'm saying corruption, corruption, and corruption. Corruption is before registration of FIR, during the course of investigation, and after the investigation. It is corruption which has taken a heavy toll on our investigating agencies. And this is how we find that every investigation, almost every investigation, is compromised. Now, the police is not bothered about maintaining law and order situation. They are busy in minting money. Now, I think we have all forgotten. I've been trying to do some brainstorming session before coming to your session. And I find that not very long ago, what happened in the case of Mumbai, Sachin Waze and Anil Deshmukh case, the Home Minister was charged for collecting a hafta from the bar owners. And what was the magnitude of the collection? It was 100 crores. 100 crores per month would mean 1,200 crores a year. And which would mean if the government has to last for 5 years, it would be 6,000 crores. And this is, mind well, only a small part of a city of Mumbai. Now just imagine, and don't be under, nobody should be under wrong impression that this is happening only in Mumbai and Pune. It is rampant everywhere. So the money is collected right from the bottom and it goes right up to the top. Are our ministers, the Home Ministry, is not aware of these hafta collection process? Is the commissioner can say that he is not aware? The deputy commissioner can say that he is not aware? So we have to, unless and until we have to make all of them accountable, this has to be completely eliminated. And good that we have Vikram Singh ji with us today on the show. I hope his services
speaks his mind, like, he always speaks his mind. So I can tell you this with certainty that he is not going to hold back.
Absolutely.
Dr. Singh.
So his services could be utilized, his knowledge, information could be utilized.
I didn't get the question. There was an audio break. Could you repeat?
This is not a question, sir. He is only, telling us how the system works, that the system is compromised at different levels, that we need an overhaul of the system.
Absolutely correct. I couldn't have agreed more. Mr. Jha is a very eminent and illustrious person, and what he says are absolute profound words of wisdom. And what he said, in total agreement, there can be no question of disagreement. And I would say, if it was Paramveer Singh, Sachin Waze, the then Home Minister, if they were oblivious to the crime and extortion that were happening, they were complicit, and the consent was expressed and implied, both. It is not possible without the active connivance and complicity that this level of loot or hafta wasuli could have happened. And they have a saying in the police, Mr. Jha, sir and gentlemen, that either you are too incompetent or you don't have the backbone strong enough to come down like a ton of bricks on the corruption. Therefore, you are even worse than being corrupt because you are callous and corrupt, both intellectually dishonest and maybe not financially. But even that is even worse. To say that hafta wasuli can go on like that without the knowledge of the police commissioner and the higher-ups, impossible, sir. They are fully aware of what is happening right underneath their nose, and they jolly well know what's happening underneath them and what the corrupt junior colleagues are up to.
Now, Dr. Singh, can I beg your indulgence for something that I want you to tell our viewers? Now, we've discussed some of the lapses. I want you to give us a, what is the right word, demo of what is the ideal sequence of events when something like this happens. When the police gets a call about an accident of this nature, what should happen?
Pranesh ji, this is something very, very basic. First, inform the city control room, get the reinforcement, get the forensic science vehicle there, get the forensic and the blood test done then and there itself. Take the samples there. Also make a videography and the photograph. Do whatever you have to do in terms of the golden hour. Save those who can be saved. Now, coming to the fact that examine the vehicle also and all the necessary papers. The videography and the photography should include who were there in the car. And the investigation is very simple. Knuckle check, knuckle repeat will happen later. But the fact that yes, you have to examine the spot witnesses and the people on the spot, the first eyewitnesses, take that into account, get the CCTV footages, then lodge an FIR. get those medically examined and medically checked up, those who are injured and those who are on the wheel, especially the person charged with negligent and rash driving. He should be subjected to the medical test and a scrutiny for all the alcohol, whether it was blood, breath analyzer, urine test and other tests. It's not just these 4 tests. And then the registration of the case in appropriate sections. The sections were horribly diluted to the extent that we were applying band-aid to terminal cancer. Even now, Pranesh ji, they have not incorporated 120B, criminal conspiracy against the father and the grandfather. They have not incorporated 201, destruction of evidence. And last but not the least, when you have failed even in class 3, to expect that you will do well in masters is wishful thinking. I think it is the fittest case where the father and son should be booked under the National Security Act also. But that's not going to happen when you were so absolutely magnanimous not to invoke Makoka. I don't have any hope that you will invoke NSA of the father and son, because they seem to be too high and mighty, Pranesh.
Okay, now Swapnil Kothari, let me put you on a spot, and this is only for the benefit of our viewers. If you were the defense lawyer in this case, how would you exploit, or how easy would it be for you to exploit the lapses that we just listed out?
First of all, just hypothetically, I would never take up such a case as a defense lawyer. I used even Me Too cases on both sides. Now, coming to your question as a hypothetical question, actually, if I was a defense lawyer, first of all, I would try to see to it and make sure that there are very few eyewitnesses to the fact of none. Because I don't see any eyewitness accounts, I don't see any 164 statements, nothing of that sort. I do not even know, as the police, that whether there were 5 people in the car, or possibly if I know, I don't want to disclose that. So if there are no eyewitnesses, I will try to say that the driver was not sitting next to the juvenile, but he was actually driving the car. That is the kind of theory that I would like to make. And the second part that I would like to do is that the man was so intoxicated, the juvenile, assuming without admitting, I'll argue in this manner, that assuming without admitting that he was there on the driver's seat,
right
behind the wheels. That is assuming without admitting. I'm assuming that now that he has spent 49,000 worth of rupees on alcohol, he was so intoxicated that he did not have the requisite mens rea to kill someone.
Right.
So he was absolutely of a deformed state of mind, where we generally call as delirium tremens in law. It generally we try to apply to insanity cases, or of tremendous delirium that I did not have the requisite intention. So obviously 304 does not apply, because that is culpable homicide, not amounting to murder.
Right.
If I don't have the requisite brain at that time.
And Swapnil, I'm sure you remember, because our viewers would certainly remember, when the Pune police chief was asked a question about blood samples, he said, look, this case does not hinge on blood samples. He tried to play it down. There was a delay, astounding delay of good 7 to 8 hours. This happens at 2 a.m., 2:30 in the night, and the blood samples, the first time it is taken around 11 in the morning. And then the police chief has the gall to say that, look, it doesn't matter. Now, I just hope that the Pune police chief and all his team members are listening to what Dr. Vikram Singh said and some of the points that we just discussed, so as to ensure that this botch-up does not cause justice in this case. Gentlemen, we've run out of time. I thank all of you for joining us on the News Hour.